Right, so I'm Jono. I'm head of marketing. I've been at Learning People for coming up to 8 years, and it's really been an exceptional journey. It's been an exciting journey, and we've seen so much growth. We're based in Brighton, in Dublin, in Sydney, and also in Christchurch in New Zealand as well. And we've enabled over 30,000 students to support them into new careers. And the whole point of these sessions are to understand a bit more about the current opportunities that we're seeing in coding. And the best bit about these sessions is to meet our students. And everything we do is focusing on our students' outcomes and student success and supporting them into new careers. And when we actually get to speak to our students that have gone through that entire journey from coming to us, been advised about maybe a potential career path, a career opportunity, enrolling with us, and then finding work at the end of it and securing a job placement, then that's the 360 service that we offer. And today we're joined by Matt, who's going to share with us his story. So really looking forward to speaking to you, Matt. We've also got Marisha, who is our career services expert. And we've also got Ben, who's been in the company, I think, slightly longer than me, actually. He's been with Learning People.
Long time, yeah, 9 years.
9 years, is it? That's amazing.
But time, yeah.
Ben knows so much about coding. He's a real expert in the industry as well. So maybe that's a good place for you to say hello, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So hi there, everybody. Once again, my name is Ben. I'm a senior coding specialist here at Learning People. Been here way too long, but they treat me well and I love what we do. So I just keep staying. Look, I've got about 4 minutes to talk with you guys a little bit about the demand for coders and all of the jobs available and the opportunities within. And I'll talk a little bit more at the end as well and answer some questions. But I think if I could sum it up, it will be summed up by answering 2 questions, which is why coding and why now? Because 90% of the people that come our way are looking for a career change or a career start of some sort. So why coding, why now? So when I say why coding, I would always say getting into coding is something that a lot of people really seem to enjoy. If it's something you can do and something that I think anybody can do, given the proper time and training and proper support and everything. And it's the type of job that can open up just about any type of life that you want to have. And what I mean by that is that I get so many people that come my way and they say, I want to get into coding because I want to be able to work from home and spend more time with my family, or I want to start my own business. I want to be my own boss, work my own hours. I want to travel the world with my laptop and just make loads of money. Or some people only want to make loads of money, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. Buy a big house, drive a fast car, pay off your mum's mortgage, and all those wonderful things that you can do. You know, other people are perfectly happy to just do a straight Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, so long as they're doing a job that they enjoy. And my point is that whatever you want for your life and your career, your work-life balance, then one of the smartest things that anyone can do today is to learn to code, because there are so many opportunities and flexibility within that arena. And why now? There's really never been a better time. I mean, there's currently 3.4 jobs to every single coder in the world right now. There is a huge increase in demand since COVID as well, because more companies right now, they're scrambling to try and increase their online presence, improve their online presence, have a bigger, better website, more user-friendly, reach more people, these kinds of things. And of course, internal technologies, they're improving that stuff too, to try and survive the potential oncoming recession and so on. And for all of those things, you need coders. So there's never been a bigger demand for coders than right now. So if you're in a position where you're thinking, I want to change my life and my career, and I'm thinking about coding, now really is the best time that you could be looking at it. That's all from me for now. And I'll pass over to Marisha to talk a little bit about our career services. But you'll hear a little bit more from me at the end. I'll answer some questions for you guys.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I've got 12 years experience and my name is Marisha. I've been a recruiter for 12 years. I've been with Learning People for the past 3 years now. And we launched career services over a year ago with the aim of giving you the tools and the confidence to navigate the job market and take control of your careers. And we'll take you through a 3-phase process that's tailored to your own desired career path, whether you want to be front end, back end, full stack, or whether you wish to be perm, contract or freelance. And as students, you're already learning the skills that are in demand from employers, which is brilliant. But how do you build the confidence to go out into the marketplace and engage with employers? How do you get the confidence to make those first steps? So phase one is all about laying down those foundations in order to build your brand and to become a credible candidate. How to create a software engineering CV, for example, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile properly, and how to start researching the tech industry and identifying companies that you'd like to work for. And at this point, then you'll be having a one-to-one consultation with myself, perhaps, because you're all in different situations with different goals. And then we make a plan and we'll move you on to phase two, which is all about networking. So are you doing everything you can to be noticed as a developer? We really encourage you to get out there and to build connections with software development professionals and to grow your network in the world of code. And that way, then you can start to uncover job opportunities that aren't being advertised. And phase three is geared around applying for jobs, working with recruiters, interviewing, and all the way through to landing your role. So all of these phases are broken down clearly and we'll support you through all of them. And we're constantly making steps towards better supporting our students as well. And one of the things that we launched recently was during lockdown, our monthly interactive workshops focused on job searching. And this is a great opportunity for our students to ask questions and to hear about what fellow students are experiencing right now as well. So that's us in a nutshell, and yeah, hope to work with some of you soon.
Thanks, Marisha, that's brilliant. Right, well, this is the favourite part of the seminar, so when we get to meet our students. So Matt is in sunny Leeds. Is it sunny today? It looks a bit windy.
Well, no, it's really not. It's very bright.
Yeah.
But this is the north of England, so it's usually raining.
It's an oxymoron saying sunny Leeds, isn't it? I should just Leeds, windy Leeds.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right, it's great to have you. So let's strip it right back to the start, Matt. Why did you decide to change careers and move into software development, and what were you doing before you made that decision?
So what I was doing before, I was working, still working with computers, but I'd, after university, which was not to do with computers, I'd fallen into a job at a company that I understood. The company, I was working with them for a long time through summers and stuff like that. And I understood there. So after a few years, I moved up there and was working with their ERP systems. So in a manufacturing company, I was working with their the system that managing all the purchasing, everything like that. And by the end of it, after about 5 years, I'd done an installation of one of these things. And I was managing it. I was managing this software, but I couldn't do anything with it. I could manage from a point that I was just like, yes, I'm comfortable doing this. Oh, we wanted to do this. Okay, I know what you want to do, but I can't do anything about it. And or things happened, and that company went into administration. I got a new job doing the same kind of thing because I didn't know what was going on. But then it was through that I realized this isn't where I want to work. At the moment, I was working with the client and then getting a live piece of software out of the box and just kind of running it. It was just like installing it and then running it a little bit. But I knew people wanted changes. I wanted to be able to make those changes, and everything that you get told, I want to do this, but then you have to go to an external, the software house that has either done the install or has written the program originally. And in my head, I'm just like, that's what I want to be able to do. I know what people want. People have told me what they want, and I get how to get there, but I don't have that knowledge of taking a step back and going into the base of that piece of software and writing the code that makes that software run. I can look at it, but I won't understand the thing that's going on there. So it was just before lockdown, actually. This isn't where I want to be. The company was making me do things with sales and payroll and stuff that I didn't really want, wasn't my job remit. I decided I want to be able to work with the computers, with the software that I actually wanted to do. Computers is always my thing. So I thought, right, let's have a look at this. let's have a look. And that's where it started. That's where I started looking around to see what the options were.
Right, that's you got like the first biggest realization there for most people. The most important one is that what you're doing right now, I don't want to be doing for the rest of my life, kind of thing. And I'm curious, before this, had you done any coding at all?
I'd worked with, obviously, I was working with manufacturing, and my role was dealing with the ERP systems. And they're all built in SQL for a lot, well, SQL and .NET. Didn't touch .NET, that was too complicated, but SQL for querying and stuff like that was as far as I'd gone. But that was all self-taught. There was 3 or 4 of us in the office that could do it, but we'd only been self-taught, and we didn't really know what we were doing, and there was so many issues that we had with it and bugs and stuff like that, but we were doing the best we could. So SQL was the most I could do, but all it was doing was pulling data out of tables. And you think, oh, it's really cool, but it's not really as much as you can do. And all you're doing is, so yeah, I enjoyed it every time. I knew that every time I was looking at this code, these SQL bits, and you're just writing a little query. So just pull me all this data, and you get a good kick when you think, oh, it's worked. This looks fantastic. And I've written this, I've done this.
It's the best feeling in the world as a coder, isn't it? Like when you actually write something that works. It's the first time as well. Yeah.
Fantastic feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what, when you decided to make that change and actually learn software development, I guess professionally, you did your research, you landed with Learning People. Why did you make the decision to go with Learning People?
Well, so I didn't have a clue what I was looking for, what I was doing. All I knew was I wanted to get out there. So I can't remember exactly, this was a good year ago or so now, exactly how I did it, but I was contacted. Obviously I'd said out there in the wide world, I'm looking at changing careers.
Yeah. And
I was contacted by someone that worked at Learning People called Connie, and we got talking. She, you know, a lot of people, you think they've contacted me, they're just here to sell me something,
sure.
And they just want to make some money off me and give me this.
Unfortunately, that's so often the case, though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I was wary, but we talked for a while, and emails backwards and forwards, and it was just so. After a while, you think, actually, this person, they do want to help. They're not here to. She wasn't pressuring. There was no pressuring with, oh, you should do this. This is how much it costs or anything. There was not even a question of anything said about cost or anything like that. She was asking what I want to do, and she was saying, well, what do you want to do? How do you want to go with this? And as I said, I didn't know. I knew I wanted to get somewhere into coding and development, but I didn't know the industry well enough, what the options were. So she asked about, do you want front end, back end? Again, I don't know. But then she said, okay, well, these are the possible options. And she advised me and said, well, if this is where you want to go with coding, we offer these solutions. And what happened with that is we went with a full stack course. I didn't quite know where I wanted to be, but the option she gave me and said, this one, it covers everything. How the course is laid out covers everything from beginning to end, from looking at front end, looking at back end, and it is a good thing. If you don't know what you want to do, it just covers everything. And then after doing that, you can decide, well, actually, I've done this and I've built all these skills, but then I can go and learn maybe more in front end or maybe more in back end. So she was really supportive. Definitely, there was no kind of sales pressure in there. It wasn't just, and I still speak to Connie these days, and it's been over a year since we started that, but I have her on LinkedIn, I ask her questions and stuff, and when I was looking to enroll and stuff like that, there was no pressure. There was no pressure from it, but I could ask her questions and she'd very happily answer them and just have a chat about stuff. So what I decided was like, okay, this was the most approachable company. It was all out there. There was no. It was like you were talking with a real person. You weren't talking with someone behind a desk trying to make sales. You were talking with a real person. The people at the learning people as well, a lot of them are doing these courses as well. There's the staff are going through a lot of the same thing, so they know what they're talking about because they're going through the same issues that you're thinking about as well. And it's like, okay, yeah, well, I'm doing a course on this, but this is what I decided to do it, and I was really impressed with. Okay, it's real people. It's people like me that are looking into this. So
that's really good. That's really good to hear, Matt, and that you've had such a wonderful
amazing
experience. Yeah, and that's obviously what we strive to do. Just you have a career consultation to understand what you want, and we would never wish to enroll anybody onto something that it wasn't going to be right for them, and at the end of it, it wasn't the direction of travel that they wanted to go. So I'm glad that their experience has been good. But so after the consultation with Connie and the conversations, you enrolled onto the full stack course. Obviously that still takes to guts to go through with it. You're going to be studying for 12 months. And you made that decision, and what was your overall experience of the training? Was it challenging in certain parts?
Oh,
was it easy? How did you find it?
There was ups. It was challenging in parts. Yes, it was a very strange feeling that you think, actually, I've decided to do this. No one's pressuring me into this thing, and as you kind of work through it, yes, you have stressful times, but that's the same with everything you try and do. There's going to be an issue that you get, but there was never any point that I felt I'm giving up on this and going, and it wasn't the right thing. Is the groundwork was set, that the learning people and the Code Institute, who the course providers, they talk to you and they make sure this is definitely the right way you want to go. And I knew then that was the right thing to do. Yes, there's difficult days. There is stressful things, but the support from both sides really, really helps. You have a stressful day, you have, if you're not really sure who to talk to, there's people at the learning people and people at the Code Institute that the full stack course is working with, that there's support all the time. And you have an issue with something, and instead of just like worrying what to do, not knowing, thinking, oh, I've made the wrong decision, I'm stressing about this, there is always support, and you can just email someone or live chat with someone that works there, and they'll help. A lot of them as well, with the live chat and the support, are going through the same things as well. They've done courses or are doing courses. And they help you. There's always helpful. There's never any, oh, why are you doing this? You should know this by now and stuff. I know it was all supportive. It made you feel good about doing these things, and that little bit of extra support it just makes you think, actually, no, I'm meant to be here. I've been doing this, and yeah, I can't go through it alone. But that's a job as well. You don't want to do it alone. And the support network from both sides of it was absolutely fantastic every step of the way.
Matt, that's actually the advice that I give to pretty much everyone at every opportunity. Is the only way you fail this is if you give up. Because if you keep going, and there's absolutely going to be days when you're pulling your hair out and it's not making sense and you're not getting it, or whatever it might be. And that's what the tutors are there for. But the best advice I can give is to keep going, because the only people I have ever known that didn't do well is because they gave up. There's going to be days when, like I say, you just can't see the wood through the trees. And sometimes it takes you to walk away from it and hit it again tomorrow, or talk with a mentor or one of the tutors or whatever it might be. But it's okay. You're going to need help. Just don't give up. That's the best advice I can give, is keep going.
Well, obviously we're split into front and back end is the full stack developer course. What did and one of I guess the big bonuses of the full stack course is that you're building a portfolio at the same time as you're studying, which is probably the most valuable thing that you can show to potential employers. So what did you prefer, front or back end, and what did you build your portfolio around?
It was at the start. I thought I'd been you get outline of the course, and the back end, a lot of it is SQL based. So there's SQL based, and I think, well, that's the language I've learned, and I know SQL already. So maybe that must be the way I want to go. And front end is I'll probably work through front end, and it probably won't be the thing for me. But even then, you go through it and learning what things you can do with it. Even at front end, you get to say JavaScript, and there's so many like fancy things you can do with the code and make something just pop up on the screens and jump around and stuff like that. It was definitely interesting. So I think personally, I am a full stack developer. I like both sides of it.
That sounds good as well, doesn't it? I am a full stack developer now.
That's terrifying to be able to actually say it now.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And so I have my understanding of the front end and the back end of it. I can so for instance, now the job, I can help with the front side of it and the back end side of it. I might not be employed to do both sides, but with the understanding that I've got of it, I know how then the two work together. And if I just knew front end, I might build something that wouldn't work with the back end side of things, and there'd be when the back end developers came to work with it, just like, you've not written this very well. It's not going to work with how we do it, so we have to recode it all. But if you've got a mindset of both of them, you don't have to know everything, but you can say, actually, I know enough to see how those two things work together, and I can just take a little think and say, if I build it like this, it'll work with any backend. Or if I am a backend developer, the way I've built this is going to easily go into any front end. Everyone that is working on the project is going to be happy with what they can do. But yeah, so I definitely think I'm enjoying both of them, both as much. But yeah.
And so now you've landed a job, which is fantastic. And do you want to describe what job you've secured, and also how you worked with career services and how they aided that experience?
Well, we'll go from a little bit further back than the job I currently have. Okay. So we obviously then with the career service. I was terrible at looking for jobs, absolutely terrible at doing any kind of looking for jobs, and because I'd landed in a job straight out of university, I didn't know how to set anything up. So obviously the first step is setting up your LinkedIn and stuff like that, and getting a bit of networking done in there. Setting up LinkedIn, I started that when I started with it. So my very basic LinkedIn, that I hadn't really done any of the course, and it was difficult to kind of think, where am I going to go with this? But as you do the course, you add a little bit more in here, you add a little bit more in there. And so I'd gotten to the point half a year in, I didn't have a job anymore, and was still working through the course. And going through with the careers team, I was speaking with Marisha. We've been speaking, and I've been working through the phases, trying to get through phase 1 and phase 2. And end of last year, Marisha had said, well, I've got a possible little opportunity for a little bit of contract work. So it was primarily just a little bit. I'd worked through, she was asking where I was with the course, how it was going and stuff like that. I said I've worked through front end, and everything like that. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And she said, well, okay, I've got a company that needs someone they need a student kind of thing. They've asked for like a student kind of thing to just do and come in and do a few changes to their big bit of software that they've been using for years. And I was terrified. But
you did it.
I did it.
Did it?
And, I was remote working for a company called LBT. So it was my first step into the kind of industry. I'd still halfway through the course and thinking, what is going on here? This is it. And so I did a bit of work for them, and it was helped through looking with the learning people and stuff like that through Marisha, but it was great to go into that. This is something that the learning people are aware of me, of what I can do. So they talk to me and say, okay, know a little this. And it wasn't just some front end stuff that they needed. So I am still doing some contract work with them.
Cool.
They decided that actually I get on really well with them. I now know a bit about their system. And just by doing those little bits of the first half of the course through the front end, I could look at the code and say, right, okay, I understand this bit, I understand this bit, but I had more of a knowledge and can say, I can see where this links to this bit. I don't understand that bit at the moment, but I can see that something needs doing there. And so it helped them. And just having a little bit of, you don't realize until you get to that point, you think, actually, I understand this coding a bit more now, and I understand how it all fits together.
Yeah.
And I might not know it all, but I can understand where things are. And those things were too complicated for me at the time, but I understood what needed to be done and where. So it helped the company as well. They were all really supportive. I've worked in some places before that people were not great. It was some toxic environments, but this little contracting place, they're all based down south. I don't know them at all, but they were also friendly and supportive, and they just email us whenever you've got any issues with it. Lots of chats, and this was additionally for a 1 month contract bit of work to do a bit of HTML, but I'm still working on now some back end stuff, even
that's amazing,
things that I didn't really know about. So that was something I was doing for a while, and so a lot of that, I finished the course, and then I was like, then at a point where I was like, I'd like a full-time job because I have bills, I have a mortgage to pay for, those kind of things, and you're a bit terrified now. I finished the course, what do I do? So back speaking with Marisha, getting back into that. Really now I've finished the course, I can update my LinkedIn profile so well, get everything I need in there, all my projects. You can display your projects on LinkedIn, so people that are looking for you can look at what you've done and look at the great thing about having a portfolio with this course is that's it. I've got loads of work. I've got pieces of work that I can show off to potential employees straight off. It's not like, oh yeah, I've learned the theory of all this. No, I have work, and these are websites that I've designed, pieces of code that I've made, and I can show them to employees. I'd done all this work. I'd networked with a fair amount of people that are going around, and I think the help from the careers people to get the careers team here to get my LinkedIn profile just looking great in terms of all the right things in the right places. I was looking for jobs. It turned out I was contacted by a recruitment agency saying, we've got a potential job that we'd like to see if you'd like to interview for it. So they're coming to me because of the way that I've learned to set out my LinkedIn profile, include all the correct things, the right keywords, the right phrases that I didn't have a clue how to do before. This company then has come to me. I think I'm terrified because I don't know half the skills on the job repertoire. This has come through, but this job repertoire is something I'm not sure about, but they said you'll be a great fit for this role after talking with the recruitment team. I'm like, are you sure? I don't know half of these languages that you're asking me to do. But I had the interview, and I had the interview that week, and then after not long, I had a second interview the week after, and then was offered this job that I'm in right now the same week.
That's phenomenal.
Incredible.
It was, and you go into this, and this is one of the big things about looking for jobs. You look through all the things that are online about, oh yeah, this is a junior development role. So to say it's your beginning, but I need to know these 16 different technologies, 20 different coding languages. It's not the case at all. And it was really off-putting. It was not off-putting, but worrying to start with, thinking, I need to know all this for a junior role. But a lot of this is the companies have told recruitment people, oh, we're looking for people, and this is the kind of things we use. But so tech companies don't expect you to know all these things going in. I went in and said, look, I don't know this, and I don't know this. And the guy that was interviewing was like, oh, it's okay, that's fine, because we want you to develop and learn, and that's what we're here for. You're coming in a junior role, and so the way is up, and you can't expect to go in at a junior level into a new industry and know everything. That you wouldn't be applying for a junior role if you knew everything already. So they said yes, and we want to help you develop, and where all these languages that we use, technologies that we use, we'll learn them, and we'll look at courses while you're working here to help you develop. Because if we're going to employ you, we've interviewed you, you seem like a great person, you want to learn, you have a habit to learn. And I think that for tech companies is what they're looking for. They want someone to learn. The way that tech companies, the way that tech is, it's always developing. Every single day, it's going to change, it's going to be upgraded a little bit. So you can't know everything, but if you want to learn and want to develop, then they're happy. They want you to say, cool, that's great. This person is happy to learning. They've done a full course. They've done spent a year doing a course. And so, yeah, this person wants to learn and has the aptitude to learn. Let's get them on.
There's a few, I mean, firstly, like, massive congratulations for securing.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, well done, Matt.
There's a few things there, firstly, you probably have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit to enroll onto a course for 12 months, and it's you that has got yourself there. You've done the course, you went for the interview, you got the job, and you were brave enough to do it, which is fantastic. And I think one of the many beauties about coding is you're saying you're still doing some contracting as well. You've got a full-time job, and then there's also there's freelance opportunities. You might want to get your own clients, build your own websites as well. So there's opportunities there. But it sounds like the journey over the last 12 months complemented each other well, from doing the training, working with career services, and then by the end of it, you probably felt confident enough that you could go for that interview and then land the job that you did, which is great to hear. So now you're in the role as a junior developer. The ladder's big, and obviously the only way is up, as you've said. Where do you want to get to, and what advice would you give to anybody on here today who's thinking about enrolling?
Where do I want to get to? So obviously then my prospects is I'd like to be to keep growing, and then become a lead developer of something, and fully be able to plan out and make my own pieces of software, websites and stuff like that, and then pass that knowledge on. Obviously I like passing my knowledge on to other people. Maybe too much, but no, I've learned all this stuff. I'd like to help other people with it, and I've learned all these things, so I can then help other juniors coming in. I'm working with another junior who hasn't done a course like this before. She's done bits of a few placements and bits of free coding camps and stuff like that. But I can then say I can help her move up And so if you've done a course like this, you're a junior with a bit more. So a lot of junior developers, you can go in anything. You can say, oh, I know about computers and I know some coding. But if you got a course like this, you go into a junior, and a junior with a bit more, you can do, you can really develop, and the companies then will see, oh, one of the guys at work asked me to help with this. Oh, can you just help with this bit and this bit and then this bit? And you end up getting asked, you can say, yeah, I can do all that. And you get asked for a load of things, but you can do it. And doing a load of free stuff online, you might be like, I don't know quite how that bit works, but you've done a course, you know the basics of all it is, and you don't have to learn every single thing to heart off it. It's learning the basics of what it is, and then you understand so much better about how the computers work, how everything works together. So my advice is really, if this is where you want to be, and you think yourself, yes, I would like to get into coding of some sort. You might not know where. I'm not happy where I am now, and I like computers, and I'd like to get into it. Tech is a growing, huge industry. You don't realize, and I didn't realize how many things. Some of the people here, they don't work with computers at all, but they still need a website. They need a website. Everyone these days needs a website, needs an app. It needs something, and you can take it to as it is. And so I'm working with great people, and you end up working with people with a good mindset, a similar mindset. And now I'm seeing results in the work that I do. I think this is something we maybe mentioned earlier with like your SQL stuff you're doing. I do a little bit of coding, and you see a result, and you're like, yeah, that's great. But now this is bigger pieces of success that you see. I think all I'm doing is a bit of, and I think I've written a little bit of code, but now this is a site that has been used by thousands of people. They're all seeing the work I've done. I've made this easy for them to use it. Then I'm going to be asked to do more. I'm going to go forward. And those little successes that you start off with build you up to having been able to show awesome stuff off and really help people. I'm rambling now. I apologize.
That's not. It's really, really interesting. I'm deeply engaged, Matt. But as you say, it's you start off by building a website that says "Hello World," probably, and then 12 months later you're building websites, and 12 months after that you might be building the NHS tracker app or the Uber app or whatever it is. And it's great to be able to quantify what you've done and see that in baby steps. Just something that you touched on there, Matt, because we've been sent a few questions from everyone on the sessions. We'll jump into some of those. You mentioned about free training, which is obviously very accessible, particularly around coding.
Yeah.
When is free training a good option, and when is enrolling onto a course a good option?
Sorry.
No,
Matt, you go. You answer the question. You're an expert. You go ahead.
I'm probably just going to give my opinion. Like you'll be the one that knows better with it.
You go first.
I've even recently, I've been training here on Laravel, which is a framework for PHP that is what they use for their app. And I think I'll just go free and I'll look at YouTube, or I think I even looked at Free Code Camp, and you follow it a little bit, but then something goes wrong because they're not up to date with the technology. This video was only a year old, but that was on software version 6, and we're now on software version 8, and the code is completely different. So you try and do something like this, and you've downloaded everything. You say, I've done exactly what you've done, but it's not working. So what do I do? What do I do now? And
where do you go from there?
Try and figure out what's going on. But with courses like this, so I know with this full stack course, they were updating it throughout the course, and they are working with professional bodies that actually look at the code structure around what's new, what's good technologies, what needs updating. Some of the lessons while I was doing it, saying, okay, these lessons are all getting updated because there's a new technology out. So we're gonna put this on now. And you've got a whole new section of that because the technology is updated, but we've kept on top of it with our lessons. So we're going to teach you what is new and coming, rather than, oh, we're going to teach you what was popular 2 years ago, but no one uses that anymore, or the technology's changed. And doing that with the free stuff, you hit issues, but with an actual course like this, they are proper people, they're teachers that are doing it, and not a guy on YouTube that knows it from 3 years ago. Yeah.
I don't think I could have said it better myself. Actually, that's you're absolutely spot on. I talk to people all the time who are looking at doing something like this. And look, free training is good when you're looking to learn some of the basics and figure out whether or not you've got a feel for this. This is one of the reasons why we have a coding assessment that we can send out to people who are kind of thinking, is this right for me? Isn't it? I've never seen a line of code in my life. And that's when free training is good, is when you're just kind of dipping your toe in the water and figuring some stuff out. But unfortunately, I've known people try free training for years, trying to learn everything necessary to actually get a job. And it never quite transpires because, again, by the time they've learnt enough to maybe be proficient in this one thing, all of the other stuff is out of date, because they're doing it so slowly without support, and also without the confidence of knowing that what I'm learning, I'm learning this specifically because that's what is popular right now. That's what employers are looking for. That's the version they need. So at some point, I think everybody comes to the realization that, okay, I now need to do a proper course with proper structure, with regular updates, with great support, great qualification, ending up with a great portfolio. Basically, all of the kind of cornerstones of what you're going to need to pursue a career in coding, the right skills, qualification, and portfolio. So I think, yeah, I don't think I could have said it better than Matt did right there, actually.
Let's, Marisha, we've got a question from Isaac, which is about careers. So I think you're best to answer. Isaac says, what are your chances of getting a job without experience in software development?
Well, I think everyone has to start somewhere, and our students are regularly landing coding jobs without the experience, as Matt can testify. So you just have to put yourself out there. Yeah. There's really, really good chance. Confidence is a really big thing as well. When I first spoke to you, Matt, you were, I remember you not being very confident, and you're just like a different person now. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it takes a bit of time. But yeah, you are like amazing now. How like when I speak to you over the phone and stuff, it's like you're a totally different person.
Do you think, Matt, that's come with developing the training and having the knowledge to back up the confidence then? So you're applying for a job, and I mean, obviously you've said there were some areas that you weren't sure about and you were transparent with your employer, but do you think that's helped grow your confidence?
I think definitely, yeah. I know there's little things like I had an interview probably only like 6 months into the course, and I'd only done bits of front end and stuff like that. And yep. I didn't get the job there, but what they said is, actually, we really like what you've done so far, but we need a bit more because we need to go into this kind of back end stuff. But they were incredibly supportive, and you just think, actually, they were like, well, what you've done is amazing. They gave a little test piece, and they said, we just want you to recreate this. Here it is. It's like a PDF of a website. Recreate this from scratch. And they said, brilliant. What you've done is great, but unfortunately, we need someone who has a bit of back-end knowledge at the time. But with that, you say, actually, you've said what I do is great. So good. That's a bit of confidence. And you can now say, when people ask you questions about coding, you can answer. You can say, okay, well, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Yeah,
that, I mean, that's, sorry, Marisha.
I was just going to say as well, I think it's okay what Matt was saying about it's okay to say, I don't know these parts, but I know this.
Yeah, and absolutely, and you know, not everyone's going to get every single interview you go to, but every interview is a great learning curve and a great experience for your next one, isn't it? And to get that feedback has put you in good stead. Yeah, no. So I'm conscious of time. Are you on your lunch break, Matt? Or are you working today?
I'm at work. I'm on my lunch break.
You sound like you work for a great company. This is one of the most interesting, I am as well, but fascinating lunch breaks I've had. Loving your stories. So, Ben, there's a question here from Jess. Jess says, what are the best languages to learn as a beginner?
So, honestly, web development is the easiest area of coding to start learning front end. So things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But start with HTML because it's one of the easier coding languages to kind of get your head around. Like one of the mistakes that people tend to make is that they look at what is the best coding language to learn, and they look at things like Python and Java and stuff like that, and then you try to start to learn those things, or like C# or you try to start to learn those things, and you realize, wow, this is really hard, and I'm really not getting this at all. And actually what you did there is you threw yourself into the deep end. So always start with HTML. It's just a great way to really start to learn the basics of coding.
Great. I think just one final question for you, Matt, is was it worth the investment?
Yes.
Great answer.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it was.
I definitely. At first you think with something like this, you think it is a big investment, and you think I'm a little bit worried. Is it going to be the right thing? If I could have done this and sat with free stuff on YouTube for ages, and had some knowledge of stuff, but going through it this way, as I say, now I have a portfolio of work, I have qualifications in this, and I understand all the logic of how it all works and how it all works together, and I can be confident, and so I can go learn a new coding language, because if you've gone through these steps and you figure out, we break it down into lots of small blocks, and you figure out how they all work together, and then right at the end you build a big project that uses everything together. Cool, fantastic. I understand how it all works together, and all the different languages, they work exactly the same way, pretty much. There's just a bit of a different syntax. How it's written is a bit differently. I'll have a curly bracket instead of a square bracket, but it works the same way. And if you understand that how it works, that's all there is to it. But going through loads of different free stuff, yeah, okay, I'll watch one video on HTML, and then one video on CSS, and then one video on JavaScript. Okay, it's different people, they don't work together, they don't link it all together, it's not the same project, it's not a continuous thing. You get confused about, okay, well, why is this bit not working? But going through this, it keeps everything together, and you start at the start and you finish at the end. You don't start in the middle, go back to the start, go somewhere else in the middle, and then maybe go to the end and then go back to the start again, because why not? Because I didn't understand that thing just after the start. This way, you've gone through it in a structured way, and I'd never look back. I don't think so now. I've never said that before, never thought that, but you look back and you think, look, here I am now. And I don't think I would have been here if I'd have tried to do it myself. I would have given, and especially through the last year of COVID and stuff like that, I would have just given up. I wouldn't have known where to go next. I wouldn't have known what things to do. But this had push, direction, support. I say now I've been asked to do this webinar thing now because I know like Marisha and stuff like that, but things like this as well. You do, of course, you've built that network. I've built this network in the coding industry from just doing this, because you speak to people and you work with it, and no one else has done this apart from you. This is what you achieved, and you know,
we're grateful that you're here today and sharing your story, and this is developing your personal brand even further, isn't it, as well? So yeah, it's a truly inspiring story. Honestly, it's fantastic to hear.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much.
12 months. Thank you so much, for joining us. If ever you do come down to Brighton, come and say hello. We'll gather some beers.
I'll make sure I do.
100%. I'll just show my screen, because if anyone needs to contact us, these are the details. You can go direct to Ben.
Yeah, please do get in touch if you guys have any questions, or just want to talk a little bit with one of us about how this might look and work for you, about exactly what might be right for you. Then please do get in touch. We'll happily talk you through it, answer any questions, offer some advice. And we're pretty friendly as well, so nothing to be worried about. Just get in touch and ask some questions. Be curious.